good evening. This is Dr. Gallagher and Dr. Cimperman with Middlesex Chiropractic Center and Holistic Health. And tonight we're going to talk a little bit about diet variation and how it can improve your health, how it can help you to lose weight and optimize your fat burning hormones, reduce your inflammation, help you to have better brain health, immune system, work with your cardiovascular health, anti-aging, and decrease the risk of chronic disease. So hopefully this will be an informative talk for you and you'll be able to take something away and use it in your everyday life.
So as always, the information presented in this program is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease, illness, or health condition. The statements presented in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA, and you should always consult with a licensed healthcare professional before beginning any type of treatment. Now, I also want to remind you to listen to our radio show on WISR 680 AM every third Tuesday of the month from 11:15 AM to 11:45 AM as well. And our grandson always listens and he finds it very interesting, and you should as well.
We also have a talk coming up at the end of July 27th at 7 p.m. on brain food, the foods you need, the supplements you need for better brain health. So you'll get something via email to let you know when that'll take place. So let's get started. What is diet variation? Science has shown that variations to the diet, and that means switching your diet either daily or weekly, including time to eating cycles, which you could call intermittent fasting, and varying your macronutrients. And these are the things called carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. You vary those on your daily diet, and that can influence your the metabolic processes of the body and your metabolism. So during this process, the body can then adapt to a cleaner fuel source, fat, and then it won't burn sugar and the cravings will go down. So that's what happens during this. During this fat burning process, the body will make something called ketones, and it'll use a ketone for energy as opposed to a sugar. The ketone production is not the same as in diabetic ketoacidosis. So that's a totally different thing. And if you're a diabetic, you have heard of that because that's a dangerous situation. What we're trying to do here is take your fuel source from being a sugar fuel to a fat fuel, which is going to be a ketone, which is measurable.
So what are some of the benefits of this diet variation? Well, there are quite a few of them. Weight loss is obviously one of them, and this is what motivates a lot of you to do this type of program. However, reducing your overall level of inflammation in your body is very important. And this is very important because on a cellular level, this can help improve hormone function by fixing the cell membranes and allowing the hormones to bind to the cell receptors more effectively. It can also help to improve brain and cognitive function because the brain needs these healthy fats to function properly. It's also been shown through many studies to improve your immune health, improve cardiovascular function, provide your body with many anti-aging benefits, and it also reduces your risk of developing chronic diseases. So what happened? Well, years ago, the high carb diet was in vogue and everyone was told, you know, you got to have this high carb diet. And unfortunately, what happened was people developed a lot of health problems, diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease. So this obviously was not the correct thing to do.
So how did we lose our ability to fat burn and develop this weight loss resistance and become addicted to sugar? Carbs. Well, part of it is not necessarily your fault. I don't want you to sit there and blame because we started so routine diets were good for us. And then eating processed foods because it's easy to do those foods and glyphosates. We were eating boxed foods with trans fats. And these were our food choices. Those are following the USD pyramid, which is incorrect for health. So we were eating too much food and we were getting too little sleep. And that contributed to our inability to burn fat and develop a situation called weight loss resistance.
So what exactly is weight loss resistance? Well, this is a term that's used to define the inability to lose weight even when we are apparently doing all of the right things. Now, these individuals can't lose weight on low-calorie diets. They have cravings. They might even exercise very regularly. They have excess belly fat that will not budge, and they may be stuck with that last 10 to 15 pounds that they just cannot get rid of. So we have to look at the hormone issues here, and some of the hormones that are involved with weight loss would be insulin or thyroid hormones. Diet variation has been shown to help improve hormone function, and this has been demonstrated scientifically through repeated lab testing.
So what to expect? When you cycle calorie restrictions with the proper ratio of carbohydrates, protein, and fat, your body will produce something called a ketone, which we talked about before. And ketones are the end product of fat metabolism in the liver. So when you eat a higher fat and higher moderate protein diet and a lower carb diet, you're going to produce these ketones by the liver. And the body breaks down fat in the absence of sugar. So when we eat too much sugar or carbohydrates, we're not going to break down fat. A higher fat and a very low carb diet also adds additional fats for fuel for fat burning, and that leads to weight loss. So if this whole system is dismantled in your body, it's going to be hard for you to break down fat. So by having a higher fat diet, that helps your body to metabolize and produce ketones for fuel. If you are healthy, you can easily reach this ketogenic diet because that is part of it, and that's why it's called ketogenic diet. Some people cannot do a full ketogenic diet, and we'll talk about that later in this presentation. If you have insulin resistance, and that's in the inability to use insulin because you have inflammation or have gallbladder problems or have low functioning thyroid, if you are type 2 diabetic and have high inflammation as noted on laboratory findings, it take you 2 to 3 months to switch really resistant and very inflamed and have a lot of problems with their digestion and their thyroid. It can take 6 months to a year to switch over from being a sugar burning person to a fat burner.
So let's start with some diet variation. We like to start sometimes when we found that this works well for a large majority of individuals. So a good starting point is 5 days like diet shake in conjunction with intermittent fasting. Now, intermittent fasting, that means no food for somewhere between 14 to 16 hours. So that leaves you with an 8 to 10 hour window in which you can eat. Now, an example of this would be the last meal of your day is at 6 p.m. So then the next meal the following day would be use the Ketabo shake or the Therapeutic shake recipe, and we're going to talk a little bit more about those later in the program. Then you would do 1 day of water or bone broth fasting while you're still following this 8 to 10 hour window of eating. And if you're using water fasting, and you feel tired or hungry, you can implement what we call the 2-2-2 rule. And this would be 2 tablespoons of coconut oil, 2 tablespoons of butter or ghee, and 2 teaspoons of sea salt. And this will help handle those feelings of fatigue and hunger. And then 1 day of healthy carbs and proteins. And there's a list which you can choose from, which we can provide for you. And you would still follow the intermittent fasting protocol, which gives you that 8 to 10 hour eating window. And if you're struggling with thyroid issues, you may need more protein than carbs. You should try to keep your carbs no more than 75 grams and keep your protein at somewhere between 40 and 60 grams. And this would depend on your activity and exercise level.
So what do you need for success? There are certain things that will help you to monitor yourself at home so you know that you are achieving the goals that you want in this, in trying to do these programs. So you would want to probably buy some ketone strips or a ketone and blood glucose meter, which is what I would recommend. That would be the best way for you to decide or check on your ability to get into ketosis and have stable blood sugar. The meter that I recommend is the Precision Extra meter, and you can purchase that online or at a pharmacy. The ketone meter reading should be at 0.5 to 5.0, which means you are burning fat and your metabolism is switching over. And then there's the optimum level, which I always talk about optimum levels, and that's 1.5 to 3.0 is optimum for fat burning. You can use the ketone urine strips. They can be purchased at any retail pharmacy. They are inexpensive. However, they are much less accurate. So if you're on a budget and you want to use something to just at least see if you're getting into ketosis, then the ketone strips, they'll turn from a light pink or orange to darker depending on the time of day and the brand of strip you're using. And the darker the color, the more likely you are in ketosis. That's where the problem comes in. You may or may not be able to tell strips. They're not as accurate.
So what about cravings? If you start having cravings, you try to do this. Well, there's several very effective ways to do this. One of them would be to use exogenous ketones, which we do have available. And this is a sort of powder that you can use, and this will help to improve the overall results of your program, but also it will help to get rid of those cravings. It will support, get rid of that brain fog, and it will just help you with your energy, and so you won't have that desire to go for something sweet. Very effective in controlling sugar cravings and AF beta food. If you have a gallbladder trouble and you're having trouble with fats, this will really be beneficial because it helps to thin your bile and improve the sluggish function of your gallbladder. Sinulin is also another product which will help balance your blood sugar so you don't feel those cravings. Water with lemon or herbal teas are also important.
So who should and shouldn't do this type of diet variation? So there are some contraindications and there are some temporary side effects. So it is best to avoid diet variation keto type diet while you are pregnant or nursing, and if you are a type 1 diabetic. Type 2 diabetics can actually do this type of program, but they would need a healthcare provider to provide the supervision that they need in order to make sure that they're not putting themselves at risk. If you have any type of infection, you should hold off because you will not have any results and you would put your body under a lot of stress. So let's say you can do this. There will be some temporary side effects, and you may notice them within the first week of this diet variation change. So as you change over from being somebody that's using sugar for energy in your body and metabolism to using more fat, you will go through a withdrawal period. So some people will notice problems more than others, and this sometimes is what makes them stop doing this because they don't feel well. So you might notice some weakness, fatigue, headache, brain fog, and flu-like symptoms until your body readapts to its fuel source. So be aware of that if you start on this, and there are certain things you can do to decrease it. And, that's why we have some appointments available for you to help you through that time period.
So we have some diet variation shake recipes that make this whole program much easier for you to do. And the first one here, you would take one time daily. This has about 475 calories. And you're going to use Ketabo shake, unsweetened almond or coconut milk, water, and you could add some berries if you want to bump it up to 500 calories. And so the macronutrient breakdown in this shake is about 13.5 carbs, 19.83 proteins, and 38.1 grams of fat. Now, this Ketabo shake is a very, very good product. This is going to have a lot of things in it that are very, very good, that are going to help facilitate weight loss. It has collagen, it has cranberry protein, it has chia oil powder, conjugated linoleic acids, butter powder, hemp oil powder, MCT oil powder, white kidney bean, which provides amino acids that support proteins and supports natural appetite, lecithin from sunflowers. This is helpful for cell membrane health and B vitamins. So there's a lot of things in here. B12, apple cider vinegar, fermented black pepper and ginger, which work synergistically to help support and digestion and reduce inflammation in your body, and alpha lipoic acid. And this is also very important for energy production, detoxification, blood sugar balance, and cell membrane health. So this comes in a powder. It's going to help support normal cell function, mitochondrial function. It's going to assist with fat burning and give you energy to be able to be more active. Helps with brain fog and improved cognition, and just supports overall cell health and vitality, which over a period of time, has an anti-aging effect on the body. So this is a really good product, and it's a really good shake, and it helps to facilitate your weight loss and progress using this type of a program.
So then we also have what we call the therapeutic shake. And this could be used to help people who are having blood sugar issues or want to go a little bit slower in the program. You would take 2 of these therapeutic shakes a day because they're 280 calories while still doing the timed eating. And you would use 1 scoop of that Ketabo shake and then another scoop of what we call Metabo shake. It's a high potency, it has macronutrients and micronutrients, which are vitamins and minerals. It helps patients struggling with metabolic syndrome, and that's really the inability to lose weight due to a lot of inflammation in the body, insulin resistance, glycemic dysfunction, poor diet. So if you use this along with some moderate physical exercise, we know that it's going to help you to balance your metabolism. They've done lots of studies on this particular Metabo shake, but mixing with the Ketabo shake makes it have a higher fat protein so we can get into ketosis a little bit faster or burn the fat faster. So it has 11 grams of pure plant protein, including sancha incha, pea protein, hemp protein, and together they supply all the essential amino acids which we need to rebuild the body. It has all the pure whole food, vegan food vitamins and minerals, which I take that vitamin every day, which I really like. It has borage, it has MCT, it has coconut oil, it has all the essential fatty acids that you need to help rebuild the cell membranes. It has some prebiotics, it has enzymes, and it also has some herbalomics to help balance blood sugar. Now, this shake comes in a chocolate and vanilla, whereas Ketabo shake is only in vanilla. So you could always add some cacao powder unsweetened to the Ketabo. But this, if you buy chocolate, then you can have a combination of both. And it helps you to, have a little bit of variation in the flavor.
So what about if you're really exercising and you don't want to, you want to maintain your muscle mass? So we could use 2 heaping tablespoons of Whey Pro Complete, some MCT oil, again, unsweetened coconut or almond milk, water, ice, and I like the chocolate, so I just put that unsweetened cacao powder in there and blend well. And this works really well. And you can still do this following your timed eating cycles. And if you're really very active and exercising intently, you can use this as a meal replacement or as a supplement to your good, clean diet.
So how do you get started? So we want to let you know that all the materials that we presented here in the Diet Variation Program will be available at the office, as well as the recipes for the shakes. So we want to let you know that you can start by doing this. We also have a list of foods that you could, go and make sure you have those in your house so that you can have the one meal a day that you're eating very, very clean. And we didn't get into that because it's a pretty long list and not everybody likes the same thing. So we give you a list and you can pick and choose from that list. So first of all, how this would be, you would start with your timed eating. You would have one shake, the larger shake, which has the 475 calories. Or you would go with 2 smaller shakes at 280 each meal. So in order to do that, if you want to do these programs, we have all the paperwork at the office, all the recipes. And for those of you that need extra guidance or want to work one-on-one with us for a dietary consultation, which is different than your regular therapeutic nutrition appointment, we will give you 50% off, which is going to be $24.50, and we'll sit down and go over everything, how to do it, or if you have questions or you're diabetic. Also, if you're ready to go and just want to pick up the materials, and if you purchase any of the shakes, you will get 10% off if you let us know that you listen to our talk tonight. And then we're also offering this through July 6th. So hopefully you do get started on this. And this is something you can do for a long period of time if you want to, or you can do it for 4 weeks and then go back and then try again. So there's a lot of things you can do with this program. It's fairly well done for you. You don't have to do a lot of thinking, but if you need some help, we're here for you. And we want to let you know that this is a really good time of year. Because of all the fresh fruit and vegetables, a good time to do this program. It makes it easy. If you're a busy person, you don't have to think about anything. You don't have to figure out your food, just one meal a day, really. So we're hoping that you do take charge of your health and get involved with this, because not only does it help with the weight loss resistance, but it helps with reducing inflammation in your body, which is the big reason for all our chronic diseases, cancers, diabetic, Alzheimer's, brain problems. And so, we really want you to think about trying this. And again, we will modify it for those of you who are struggling. And just as a reminder, watch for our next talk, July 27th, on brain food and brain health. And we're going to review a lot of this again, because a lot of this relates back to being able to have a healthy brain. So we hope you have a good evening and a happy summer, and we wish you the best. Thank you for listening.